you have any question, please drop your questions and use the question and answer topic, please, so that I don't get to miss your assignment. So any question before we start today's class? Sorry, no, this one. Here, two here, and new JS1. Okay. If you have any questions, please go ahead. And I will make this bigger. Yeah, and that's fine. But the first thing I want to do is create my HTML file. Now, it doesn't mean that, please give me a minute. All right, we're back. The URL used for the background images. I think I had this question the last time. Now, when it comes to building projects, especially on the front end, you will not design the project. There will be a product designer, the people we call UI UX designers. But this is for front end, not for you now. Yes, I am. I think I'm recording the class. Okay. So when they give you a design, your goal is to replicate exactly that design, everything that is there, including the sizes of the images, sizes of the buttons, the same color, everything, the same spacing on the UI. So the image I gave you is more like a UI. You are expected to replicate exactly the same thing to the best way, the best of your ability, the perfect way you think you can when it comes to front end. But you are not working on the front end, you're working on the back end. So I might excuse that. So the URL is not compulsory, but the Netflix logo is actually compulsory because it's on the design. If you remove that Netflix logo, it will not look exactly like the UI. It will not even to make no sense. Now, if you use a yellow Netflix logo or a blue Netflix logo, it will still look different. So it has to be, because color is part of the UI, color and size. So if you add an image that is not of the same color, the UI has changed. If you add an image that is not of the same size and shape, the UI has changed. So, but if you do that, will it be safe to say you are actually replicating the design? No, you're not. All right. So the first thing we want to do is create our HTML file and bootstrap the HTML. Please let me know if this font size is okay. Let me know if this font size is okay. All right, thank you. Okay, after that, the next thing I want to do is to create my JavaScript file, index.js. Now, I am calling it index because I'm used to index. You don't have to call it index, but if you want to call it index, that's fine. Index means the first one, as in the beginning, the first. So that's why I'm calling it index, the first one. And I want to link my JavaScript to my HTML because without that, I will not be able to see what my JavaScript is doing on the browser. And I want to believe you know why I am linking it at the bottom here, /JS. Yes, wisdom. I think I'm recording, but thank you for reminding me again. Let me check on it. Yes, you are. You know, the class that for you, you are lucky that you get the opportunity to join the class. The persons who are following the class without joining the class, they are just following the videos. The day we missed that recording, they missed classes, and that's fine, sure, but it wasn't intentional to miss that class. So please, at any point in time, just let's check on me. Not let everybody check on me to be sure that I'm actually recording the class. JavaScript is simple. I will make sure it is, but if you miss anything, you can always go back to the video. So with this, I think my JavaScript is set up. Now, this is how you set up JavaScript. You create your HTML file, you create your JavaScript file, and you link it. This is not the only way. Now, as backend developers, we don't need to do it with HTML, but you are already used to HTML. So that is why we are coding our JavaScript with HTML. As backend developers, we can do without HTML and just use Node to run it. But for now, since we are used to HTML, that is the reason why we are using HTML. There is no HTML on the back end. But because we are used to HTML, that is why we are using HTML. So the next thing I want to do is to open up this HTML file with live server. This is it, but I like using the other browser. I don't know why I don't like this this browser. I don't know why, but should I go ahead and use it? I think I will use this one. I think I will use this one. So I have my console here. Yeah. So if you see those errors, if you experience that error here the first time, just reload or save your HTML document again, and that error will be gone like that. So when we start with HTML, I said the first thing you need to understand with JavaScript is that we need data. To code JavaScript, we need data, and there are different types of data. You can call it data or you can call it variable. So there are different variable types or there are different data types. Now, these are what we need to code JavaScript. And I explained to you before that we have five that we are looking at. The first one is a string. The first one is a string, and a string is any variable in quotes. Anything in quote is a string. It doesn't matter whether it's a number, it's a boolean, it's a null, anything. So long as it has quotes around it. And quotes doesn't mean it has to be double quotes. No, it can be single quotes. It can be double quotes or it can be single quotes. It goes. Now the only thing is that if you are starting with double quotes, make sure you end it with double quotes. If you are starting with single quotes, make sure you end it with single quotes. You don't start with double quotes. You don't start with a single quote and you end it with a double quote. No. If you are going with single quotes, go with single quotes. If you are going with double quotes, go with double quotes. That's one. And I want to believe you know why I am using const instead of var and instead of let. The next one are numbers. And numbers are anything between the range of numbers, any value between the range of numbers. The next one is a boolean or booleans. Booleans are values. Let me just say it's raining. Are variables that can have just two values. It is either going to be true or it is either going to be false. That is a boolean. There is no in between. It is either going to be true or it is either going to be false. And in this case, you can narrow it down and say it is either on or off. It is either on or off, and it is either 1 or 0. So that is like a boolean. But for computer here in JavaScript, we only work with true or false. True or false. The next one is going to be a null value, a variable that will never have any value. It is going to remain empty perpetually. There is never going to be a value attached to it. And the last one is the undefined. Undefined, a variable that will have a value later, but for now it doesn't have any value. So this is where we stopped in our last class, and it's very important that you understand these data types or variable types, because this is what we will be using to write JavaScript. We are not going to manufacture data from anywhere. We'll be working with either one or all of these data types. So do you have any question on these data types? Any questions so far? Any question on data types? If you don't have any question, please drop a thumbs up so that we continue. If no question, please drop a thumbs up so that we can continue. All right, thank you. Any other person? Yes. Secondly, class rep, please, you people are not attending variety night, and there is always going to be, will I say, some kind of reward, maybe not reward, but some things given to best performing students, and I will appreciate if backend students also benefit from it. And I don't know if our Access Bank will also offer employment opportunities to this batch or this cohort. And if they will, it means that variety night, your attendance in variety night will also play a key role there. Also, we may have incubation program, which we are doing with cohort 1. Variety night will also play a role. So you don't just attend the class, also attend variety night. I actually registered for variety night last one. So please attend variety night. Class rep, whenever it's time, just drop the message so that I think somebody does that, parent does that. You'll be reminded, please, so that you would not say you are doing very well in attendance, because some persons have attendance and they have assignment, but there is no variety night marked for them. And I saw somebody, 2 persons, I think so, they don't have any class attendance, they don't have any assignment, but they have been attending variety night. And I'm like, it's like the variety night is more fun. I want to go and see what you people do there. Like, that's the reason why these persons prefer to be at the variety night instead of coming to back-end classes. All right, well done. So that being said, we can then skip all of this one and focus on the strings. When you are defining a string, I said the first thing is the initializer, maybe, and the next thing is the name. If you see the way I am naming my variables, the way I am naming these variables here, this is a 2-letter word, not 2-letter words, 2-syllable words, meaning this can be divided into 2, the first and the name. But in JavaScript, when you want to name any variable, you don't need to add spaces between them. You don't need to add spaces between them. Now you can add what is it called? Underscore if you want. You can add underscore in your variable names if you want, but the way we would prefer to name it is in the camel casing. Camel casing meaning it will start small, and then here the second word we have bigger letter. What I'm trying to say is this: when you want to name your variable, if it is going to be more than one word, this from the second word to the third word to the fourth word, all of those words will start with capital letters. So if I'm going to use more than one word here, which will be my father saw, or let me say my father grandmother Sunday. Now, if you look at this word, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So with camel casing, after the first word, every other word should start with capital letter. Now, it doesn't matter if you want to use 100 words as one variable, it's fine. But after the first word, every other word should start with a capital letter. That is camel casing for you. So, and you don't need to add spaces. So this is now my variable name. So the name of my variable, put them together, it's my father, grandmother, surname. I just made that up. You can name your variable anything. But like I said, if it's going to be more than one word, from the second word, they must all start with capital letter. That is for camel cases. Now, but you can go with underscore if you feel like, if that's what you want. You can also go with underscore like this. It's still fine. So that is about naming. You will see me use a lot of camel casing. That's what I like using. So the first thing I want to do is first name. Now my first name, I'll put the variable value here to be David. Const last name is equal to something. Const what do I want to say again? Okay, age is equal to 67. What other word do I want to use? Const is married is equal to false. So I have defined 4 different variables. Now these two are strings. This is a number and this is a boolean. But all of these variables are referring to me, data about me. So that is why I said you can't work without data when it comes to JavaScript. So these are data about me, but we can focus on only strings for now. The first thing we might want to do is to console log each of these variables. So if I write console.log and I put this first name inside here, now you know that first name here is the name of this variable. So what I am actually saying is I am asking console to print out whatever is stored inside this container called first name. So that is what I'm doing if I use console log, and automatically I should see David. Now you see, this is why I don't like this browser. Sorry, let me change this one. Okay. Did I click on it? So like I said, whenever you see this error, this is a favicon error. If you see it, you either refresh or you come back and save your HTML again. Control S, save it, the error will disappear. That's like, yeah. So, but here I am printing out the value that is stored inside first name. And if you look at it here, it says this is coming from index.js line 7. And we have this console on line 7. So whenever you put the name of the variable inside console, now console log is going to print out the value of that variable, not the name of the variable, but the value of that variable. I think that's understood. So while we are printing each variable, we can do things with these variables. So that brings us to what we call properties and methods. Properties and methods. So strings. So let me write strings properties. String properties and methods. What is a property and what is a method? For example, if somebody comes to look for you and you are not around, when you come back, your neighbors will try to describe the person that came to look for you. For example, they say he's tall, he's dark in complexion, he's this, he's putting on a red shirt, he's putting on a white singlet, and all of that. So properties are qualities that you can define it by. So a string property is those things that you can define the strings by. If you see it, you look at it, you know that, oh, this is a string because you see the properties. It looks like a string. For example, if I ask you to describe a dog, you know that a dog will always have 4 legs. If it has 2 legs, then it is no longer a dog. That is properties. Then methods. Methods are what it can do. For example, if they ask you what are the methods of a dog can run, a dog can bark. Those are the things it can do. So when it comes to string properties and string methods, string properties are things you can define or identify the strings by, and methods are what the strings can do. For example, if you want to talk about one property, I'll start with first name and say dot length. Dot length. Now, I am trying to check the length or the number of characters in this first name. So, and it's telling me 5. Now, this length here is a property because I can tell how long, how many letters are there. So if I can count the letters, it means it is actually a string. If I can count the letters, it is actually a string. Otherwise, I can't count the letters, but that's a string. And counting the letters, it also counts spaces. So I've added a space here, and if I save it, you see that it has increased to 6. If I add another space here, it has increased to 7. It means that this length is actually counting from the beginning of the quote to the end of the quote. It doesn't matter if there is spaces. Now, adding spaces, it will also count those spaces. Now, this is very, very important to you as a backend developer, meaning I don't know if you have created a password before, you know what your password is, but you cannot log in again. You are certain that this is my password, but you can't log in again. Now, a simple thing that happened there is because before you started typing, you added space. So when you are entering your password again, the system recognizes spaces, but you didn't add spaces. And that is why you are having issues. So as a backend developer, it's very, very important for you to understand that users may type in spaces when they are creating their password. So it will be your job to help them. You can use length to identify that it counts spaces. And those spaces, it doesn't matter where they are, whether they are at the beginning or at the end. and the middle. Now, these two spaces are different. The ones you add before the first letter can be considered as a mistake. The one you add after the last letter can also be considered as a mistake. But the ones you add in between the letters is not mistake. That is deliberate. So what you can do as a backend developer is to be able to remove these spaces before and after. But you can't remove the ones in between, because it's considered that those spaces in between are actually deliberate. So what I'll do is I'll remove these spaces in between and then just leave the one before and after. So you see now that it's actually showing, how would I put it, David now. And if you look at it, this thing here is moving, because where this number 7 starts, that is not where this David is started. It means there is space here. If I remove it, watch it again and save it, you see that it is starting at the same line. They're all both starting at the same line. But if I add that spacing again, they are no longer starting on the same line. So JavaScript is going to recognize spaces when you are working with strings. Any space you add inside this quote is recognized and is counted. So, but you can remove those spaces for the sake of your users that will be creating a password or username with you. You can remove them with a method called trim. So like I told you before, a string property is what you can actually identify it by. Now, a method is what it can do. So a string can actually trim the spaces before the first letter and the spaces after the last letter. And that is what this trim will do. So trim is going to trim the spaces. Now, if you look at it, it is printing David again, but without the spaces. So this is what you should know of. And how do you differentiate between which one is a property and which one is a method? The only way, the best way for now is using this parenthesis, bracket, this bracket. Properties do not come with bracket. Now, when I hover over this, you see what it's saying. It says that this is a method. String, you write the string, you put dots, and then you call trim with a parenthesis. So this here tells you is a method. But if I hover over the select, you see it calls it what? A property. It says the string dot the length, and this is a property. It returns, I don't know if this is because my VS Code is updated, but I want to believe every VS Code can do this. I am sure your own VS Code will also do this, but if you can't, try and update it. They come with updates regularly, so update it. So this is the easiest way to actually identify which one is a string and which one is a method. Any question before we continue? Any question between what we have done now? Any question? If there is no question, drop a thumbs up so that I can continue. Nobody? Any question so far? If there is no question, please drop a thumbs up. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So how do we know all the properties there is and all the methods we can find? You always find them in W3 School. Strings, methods, like this. So if I go to W3 School, I will see a list of all the string methods and properties. So these ones that come with brackets are all methods. The ones that don't come with brackets are properties. So you have length here without a bracket. So this is a property. So all of these are methods you'll be working with. Maybe not all of them. We have worked with this one, trim. It returns a string with removed white spaces. So it's going to remove spaces before the first letter and spaces after the last letter. There are so many of them we can use. So many of them. You can try them out at your own personal time. But let's see this first one. Character at. It returns the character at a specified index or at a specified position. For example, I can call first name again, CLG first name dot character at. Character at position 3. So this means I want to know the letter or the alphabet or whatever is on position 3. Position 3, if I go back, it's telling me that it is the V. The V is a letter and position 3. So, and that is because now it's supposed to count these white spaces, but it's not counting these white spaces because at this line 14, I have trimmed the white spaces. So it's not counting the white spaces. If I take it up before the trim and save it, okay, it's actually counting. It's counting it. It's counting letters. Sorry, I forgot it. It's actually starting with 0, 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, we are going to understand that better when we come to array. But this is it. When it comes to counting in JavaScript, computers start counting as 0. So 0 is considered as the first one, 1 is the second one, 2 is the third one, and 3 is the fourth one. So if I say count it, it's actually counting the spaces here as the first one. But if I remove the spaces, you see now that the third one is the I. It's actually not number 3, it's actually number 4 because computer starts counting at 0. Computer start counting at 0. So it will count 0, 1, 2, and 3. So that is why we have the I at position 3. If I add space and space again and save it, you see it is counting A because there are 2 spaces here, 1, 2, 3, and then the A. This is how we use methods. Now, sorry if I confuse you, but I hope you're not confused. And so finding the character at a particular position in any string variables is a method because that is what it can do. Is a method. Now, there are other methods. Which other one? You can check ends with and starts with. So ends with and start with is you want to check from the explanation here. Where is it again? Returns if a string ends with a specified value. So you want to check what letter or if it ends with that letter you are actually checking with. For example, I can say console log first name dot ends with. So I want to check if it ends with H. So if it ends with H, it is going to return either true or false. And it says false. So it means that the variable letter does not end with H. It actually ends with D. So if I put D here, it says true. You see, true. But if I add a space and then remove this D and put a space and save it, it actually returns true. But if I remove the spaces here and save it, it will return false. So the same thing you can do with ends with, you can also do it with starts with. So you want to check if it starts with this letter or if it ends with this letter. So that is for ends with. There are so many of them, but I'm just pointing out the ones that I think you might get used to. Another one is includes. Includes. Now, this includes here is very useful Maybe you want to build what is it called, Naira bet, or you want to build a password, you want to check a certain letter. So you want to check if that variable contains a particular thing. It can be symbol, it can be letters, it can be anything. So I want to check if it contains this symbol. And you know, when you are building a password, sometimes they will ask you to enter special characters. How will they know if okay, I am back. Sorry, I think these MTN people are playing with me. First, they blocked all my lines, and I went to the office. Nothing came out. And blah blah blah. I think they're actually after me. MTN, I know them. They're after me. So I was trying to explain a particular method, and I think I'm not sharing my screen again. But let me do that. Okay, I'm recording, and I should share my screen. All right. So I was trying to explain this includes, and I said you can use includes to find out if a particular variable contains any element or any letter. It can be letters, it can be symbols, it can be anything. Yeah, don't mind them, Peters. They just wake up one morning and decide to give everybody. And I think it's because they want to create a little distractions around protests. So, but it's all good. So whenever you want to check if it has any letter or anything, you can use the includes. Include is very, very, very important because most times you might want to ask your users to include the number in the password, to include the blood of animal in their password, to ensure that they put their ancestors' name in their password. So with includes, you're going to find out if actually the blood of animals is in the don't mind me. So, but includes, you can use includes to find out if any letter of your choice. It can be symbols, it can be letters, it can be numbers, whatever it is. You want to check if it includes a particular thing. So, if it includes, it will return true. If it doesn't, it will return false. So, here in this case, first name has no letter G in it, and that is why it is returning false. But if I say first name, does it have letter V in it, and save it, you see it will return true. And if I say, does it have an exclamation mark in it, and save, it will return false. But if I add an exclamation mark into the variable and save, it will return true. So when you're working with includes, it's going to return true if it has that letter, or false if it doesn't. Now, the other thing is these letters are in uppercase. Let's say the first letter is capital letter, the rest are small letters. But you can convert all of them to small letters or convert all of them to capital letters. You can do that. Meaning first name dot to lowercase and you can also do to uppercase. So lowercase, we convert all the variables to lowercasing. Uppercase, we convert all of them to capital casing. So this is what we mean by a method and properties. So a property is what you can actually identify it by the length. You can identify a string by the length. That is the most important thing. You can say, okay, this string is five letters long or 10 letters long, like that. That's how you can identify it by. The same way you can identify human beings and say this person is 5 feet tall or 4 feet tall, anyone, or 3 feet tall, like that. So that is how you can actually identify strings by the properties. And also you can identify what it can do, the methods, what the strings can do. And we have actually listed some of them here. Now, there are so many of them, which I am going to drop this link for you. You can check them out, all of them. Feel free to try them out at any time you want. And we may not cover all of them. There are so many. Now, you may not use all of them. You may not, but try them out at any time. I'm done with strings, but do you have any question on strings before we move to numbers? Any question on strings? What? Sorry. No question. If there's no question, please drop a thumbs up so that we can move to numbers. All right, let's move to numbers. Thank you for that. So what I will do is I will comment these ones out. It's not like they're not there. They'll still be there. And I want to create numbers. Const. I don't have a variable name, so I will just name it like this. Just bear with me. This is not professional, but because I don't have any name to use now, I think I can use age. Yeah, age, my age, all of those things. So I'm creating a number. When it comes to numbers, numbers give you flexibility to do a lot when it comes to JavaScript. So with numbers, you can do a lot. You can do a lot with numbers. Actually, JavaScript is the owner of calculator. Like its domain works in calculation. So JavaScript can handle any kind of calculation in split seconds. It doesn't matter how long or how so many you write them, which is why I think sometimes I usually say this, and some persons doubt it, but some persons don't doubt it. If you are good with JavaScript, they cannot put you in any CBT exam. They cannot. If you are very good with JavaScript, they cannot drop you to write any CBT exam, any CBT at all, because you are going to do wonders. But that's by the way. So what I would do is I would define short variables for 2. Const b is equal to 3 and const c is equal to 5. Like I said, bear with me. I don't have anything to name them, but you understand how we can name variables with multiple words and one word. So I'm just using letters now to name my variables. So A, the value is 2. B, the value is 3. And C, the value is 4. So with these values, you can perform any arithmetic you want. Minus, division, multiplication, raised to power, and module. So you can perform any arithmetic you want. For example, I'll say const answer is equal to A plus B. Now, without looking at the console, you should know what will be the value of answer here, because by now you are getting used to JavaScript. But I can still go ahead and console log answer and save it. If I do that, you see that answer, the value of answer is 5. Do you know why the value of answer is 5? Drop yes or no. Do you know why the value of answer is 5? Drop yes or no. Yes, who else? Do you know why the value of answer is 5? No? Okay. Who else? Who else? Do you know why the value of answer is 5? No? Okay. Yes. Any other person? Okay. Yes. So what we did was to assign numbers to A. What is stored inside A is 2. What is stored inside B is 3. So what we did was to create variables like containers. I explained using the idea of containers we have in the kitchen. Let's say you have containers in the kitchen, and the first container you name it A, and you carry 2 and put inside. So what is inside A is 2. You bring another container and you carry 3 and put inside. So what is inside container B is 3. And here they are asking you to add what is inside container A to what is inside container B. So it means that bring the 2 that is inside container A, bring the 3 that is inside container B, and add the 2 of them together. So when you add the 2 of them together, that becomes the value that you put inside the container that is called answer. So what is going to be inside this container answer now is going to be the sum of what is inside container A and what is inside container B. That is why when we console log it, we have 5. If I go ahead and change this to 3, this means that what is inside container A is 3. What is inside container B is 3. And if they say that the value or what will be inside container answer should be the sum of what is inside container A and what is inside container B. So that means 3 is here and 3 is here. If you add the 2 of them together, it should give you 6. So that is how we get that. And we're console logging what is actually inside this one. If I also go ahead to switch this to 5 and then change this one to C, do you know what will be the value? Or actually drop what will be the value. What do you think will be printed on this line 39 if I console log answer? Okay, 10. I want to be sure. 10, 10, 10, 10. I want to be sure. 10, 10, 10, 10. Oh, that's true. And I must say this again. Some persons actually make this mistake. When we start the class initially, they will see people doing very well. They will say, this guy don't do coding. Even talk and say, maybe they do HTML at that time. And even do like 3 years ago. I just start. I'm not going to be anything. Far, foul. Like my father would say, you are lying. You can be better than anybody, even if today is your first time starting coding. Your experience has a role to play, but it doesn't affect you in any way. Now, as a matter of fact, there are some things I do. I learn them that day. I might be working on a project now. What is expected of me, I don't know how to do it. I will learn it that day. And I will implement it that day. And when I present it to my team or anybody I'm working with, they will say, oh, this guy is professional. This guy is past. It's a lie. It's that day I learned it. I didn't learn it before. So I don't want you to feel this, what do they call it? Imposter syndrome. It happens a lot with developers. Imposter, I myself, I do experience it sometimes. Sometimes I've had a job offer that paid so well, like so well. And they've given me projects, they've given me everything. I was the one that missed out on the job because I felt I wasn't good enough. Of course, there are people who are doing better than me now. Are you sure it's me? I might go there now and make one mistake, then go say, oh, you don't disgrace yourself like that. So I was feeling as if I'm an imposter, even though I don't need to, because whatever it is they're going to ask me to do, I can research it, learn it, and I'll do it. And they will say I'm the best. But because I felt this imposter syndrome, I dropped that. So you're going to see people who are very fast in catching up, and that doesn't make them the best. And so you now start feeling like, oh, I don't understand this simple thing. That means I may not understand the big one. Or if this small one is difficult, that means there will be no difficult thing. I'm here to assist you if you don't miss classes. Now, this is a simple arithmetic. We can go ahead and make it a little complex like this. And I believe even though I make it complex like this, you still know what will be the value of sum. Yes. Just like math formula. So like I said, JavaScript can perform any mathematics, and it is any mathematics that you can think of. But we're going to get to that part. So this symbol here is for addition. You can add anything together. And if I remove this here is for subtraction. A minus C. And this is subtraction. So if I save it, I'm getting 0. The reason why I'm getting 0 is because A is 5, C is 5. So if we say A minus C, that is 5 minus 5, and which is why we're getting 0. Now the next thing here, this forward slash is division. Now I know some persons might be thinking this should be division. No, this is not division. The forward slash is division. So if I save it, you see I am getting 1. The reason why I'm getting 1 is A is 5, C is 5. 5 divided by 5 is equal to 1. And so the value of answer is going to be 1. When you console log answer, you should see 1. That is division. Then this asterisk is multiplication. A times C, if I save it, that is 25. So multiplication, single asterisk is multiplication, but double asterisk is raised to power. So single asterisk is multiplication, double asterisk is raised to power. So this is 5 raised to power 5, and I can say let this be this is 3 and this is 2. And so if I say this, what I know you are not good in maths, but let's just assume you are. I'll do this and I'll explain something. What do you think will be printed in the console on line 39? If I do this, what do you think will be printed in the console if I do this? 6. Now, there is no right or there is no wrong answer. No right, no wrong answer. Okay, so if I save this, I have 8. Now, I understand because you're not math students. That's totally fine, totally fine. And I must say this, JavaScript is not for math students, because I can go deeper into this math section, and you will be like, oh, you have to be very good in mathematics before you understand JavaScript. Is a lie. Oh, you need to be a science student before you understand JavaScript. It's a big lie. Now, JavaScript has different part of it depending on what you will be working on. If you are going to work in fintech apps, like financial apps for banks and all of that, you should know that you will do mathematics, is it not? You will do math. But if you are going to be working on some project like Netflix project, Facebook project, why would you be doing maths on Facebook? What will Facebook do with mathematics? It will not. So coding is not about the coding itself. It is about what you will do with the coding. This same coding, you can use it to build fintech apps. You can use it to build apps for agriculture. You can use it to build apps for medicine. You can use it to build apps for military, whatever you want to build. So it's not because I am going deeper into maths, you will then say, oh, it's good for math people. That means you will drop out. There's this saying that say, if you give up, now you F up, but don't give up. So, but we are still going to go deeper into math. But like I said, it's not because it is for math people. You can do your whole coding career and not go deeper into this math side. You may not even bother doing it, except you'll be building softwares that would need calculations, especially financial softwares, fintech apps. There you have to be adding their transactions, adding and subtracting and all of it. But at the same time, you don't even, it's not going to be too much maths. You just write the formula and JavaScript will be running it automatically like that. So, but that's it. The next one is module. And a perfect way to demo this module is if I add 5 here and I add 2 here. So the value of A is 5. The value of B is 2. If I say A module B, it means that divide A by B. Whatever is the remainder, give me the remainder. So module is not interested in your answer. It is interested in the remainder. That's the difference between the division and the module. So if you are doing division, you are interested in the answer. 6/2, you are looking for the answer. But for module, you are looking for the remainder. So you know that 5 divided by 2 is 2 remainder 1. So module is not interested in the 2. It is interested in 1 because 1 is the remainder. Exactly. So that is what module will do for you. Module is going to give you remainder 1. So that being said, I can do something like this. A multiply bracket A minus B multiply 4 raised to power C. Now, I don't know what I'm doing, but like I said, JavaScript is the father of mathematics. It can do whatever you write as a formula in one hand, one stretch, and you don't have to even bother about it. So all you need to do is just know how to put the formula together, and JavaScript is going to bring it out. Now, I don't know what this is going to print. I have not done it before. I just typed it. So if I save this and it came out minus 16.34, like I said, JavaScript knows maths. So the one I know very well is circumference pi, what I think it's called pi r2. No, pi r square, and then 2 pi r. We are calculating the area of a circumference and all of that. Now, like I said, you must not be a math student. These are formula that I remember because I was a science student. You can use any formula you want. You can just enter the formulas here. What I want to do is to bring out that pi, the value of pi, the value of cos, cosine, and all of those things are stored in JavaScript, inbuilt. They're inbuilt in JavaScript. So that's the part I'm going to. I can say that the value of const pi is equal to math dot. Now you see, if I put math, I have a list of all the variables and everything that has to do with mathematics. It has logarithms, it has pi, it has square root, it has sine, cosine, tan. It has so many things, so many. So the one I'm interested in is the inbuilt value of pi. If I save it, it says the value of pi. If I console log the value of pi here, the value of pi is 3.141, and of course, if you're a science student, you know it's at 3.142. So if the area of a circumference is actually pi r square, that means we need to define r and say const r is equal to 6, or maybe put it as 2. So that becomes times r raised to power what again? 2. And I can do this like this. So this means that pi times r raised to power 2. And I must say again, this thing I'm doing, you may end up not doing it in the whole of your coding career. It's fine. But as your teacher, I'm supposed to bring out every part of JavaScript but I may not go deeper into it, but I'm supposed to bring out every part of JavaScript so that you know what is available there. So if I save it, I have the value of pi, this mathematics actually, the value of this equation to be 12.54 whatever. I can actually do roundup, floor, and generate random numbers. for example, what I can do is say const number, any number at all. Let me just use that variable name. Any number is equal to math dot random. So math dot random is going to generate a random number every time and save it as any number. Then I will console log any number. So it's going to be printing, you see, random numbers. If I save again, a random number. If I save again, a random number. If I save again, a random number. In most cases, you might want to be generating random numbers every time. For example, those who be working in fintech app, you want to be generating transaction ID, or maybe you want to be generating what is it called? Math number for students. As in, anytime you want to generate random numbers, you can use math.random. Now, if I want it to be between, I can actually say multiply it by, that is multiply. Yes, reference ID like that. Multiplied by 100 and save. So it's going to be giving me numbers within the range of 100. So as I save, but I want it to be in whole numbers. Now this is in decimal. It's not like, let me just say this. I'm not going deeper because I'm just bringing it out. Don't get confused if you are not good in maths, please. So let me make it that it's going to give me whole numbers. So I will come here and say math.floor and save. Now it's giving me, it's generating random whole numbers every time, random whole numbers every time. So if I want to be a little unique, I can then say const math number is equal to the string u2024 hyphen. You can go with hyphen or you go with this. You can then put the year and then say add the plus any number. This brings me to another thing. So if I save this and then console log math number and save. So every time you see U2024, you see different numbers. Now this is like a simple example, and I want to explain why. I will explain why I'm using plus here, but without being told, you know what the plus is doing. But I'm going to explain that plus better. But this is just like a simple example. Now you may not be this. You can say trans ID is then put it like this. So if you save it, you're getting transaction ID of different number. You can actually increase it to zeros so that it doesn't just be 100. It can be in thousands, it can be in millions, however much numbers you want. For now, here there is a possibility that if you are using 10 like in 10 like this, there's a possibility that it can generate one number once, because if you have more than 10 users, it means the possibility of printing more than, you can't print 20 numbers. Sorry, how do I explain it? If you are using 10, a number of 10, and you have 20 users, there's every possibility that it will generate one number twice. But if you use 100 and you have only 20 users, there's every possibility that it's not going to print the same number twice. But if you have 200 users and you're using 100, it's going to. But there's another way of generating IDs if you want to go deeper into that. But this is just telling you can do something with this. This is maths. We're working on maths. So that is for maths. And I can go deeper in math.random, sorry, let me show you another. I'm not going to do it, so don't get R is equal to math dot. Now, oh my God, I have R already here. So let me put RR. So you have sorry, it's not supposed to be small letter, capital letter. So you have a lot of things to work on. So what I wanted to show you is that there's this called round up and round off. So this is round up, like those who did maths, round up. Are you with us, wisdom? At this time and age, we're talking about how to open it up on. So what you need to do first is create your HTML. When you create your HTML, create your JavaScript. When you create your JavaScript, come inside your HTML and link your JavaScript inside your HTML. When you link your JavaScript, now it depends on if you are using live server. I think I have explained how to install live server. I think so. Now, if you are not using live server, go to the folder where you have this index.js, double click on it, and it will open on the browser. But if you're using live server, right click on it and open with live server. It will also open on the browser. But if you're not using live server, go to the folder where you created this. The folder, this is JS1, the folder you're working with, and then double click on this index. When you click on it, come to your browser. It will be showing white like this. Come to your browser, right click anywhere and click on inspect. When you inspect it, now my own, I arrange it like this. Your own, it may be arranged at the top. But what you are looking for is a panel that says console here. That's what you're looking. So if these icons are at the top for you, then it means you should be looking at it at the top, but mine is on the side. You can click on console. When you click on console, it will be showing you here like this. So that's how I got mine. So math.random, I was showing you, this is where you can find anything you want to work on with mathematics. Now, some of these things are way advanced. Like I said, you may not even do them by the end of your coding career. So any question so far? Any question so far? Any question so far? Any question so far? If there's no question, drop a thumbs up so that we can continue. If there's no question, please drop a thumbs up so that we can continue. Now, like I said, okay, thank you. The most important thing to take out is some of the, I have taught students, like international students, where they have to take an international exam, a very standardized exam, and that exam was very expensive, and they've passed it. I taught it, was it twice or three times, and they passed it. One of my best students there, I think he was on 94%. So I know what would be a question in an exam. One of them is this const. Please, I have explained const. For those who may not understand, know the difference between const and let. Know why I am using const instead of using var. These things I'm bringing up, I am skipping some things, of course, we are, but I'm not just skipping them. I'm actually bringing up the ones I know that will always come out in exams. I'm not saying you're going to write exams. In case anywhere you find yourself, it might come out an interview question, it might come out as exam anyhow. So that is why I am actually bringing out some of these ones. But there are other ones I'm not mentioning. There are other stuff I'm not going to. Not because I don't want to overload you with the knowledge and you get bored like that. So why am I saying this? I'm saying this to say that when it comes to Boolean, there is nothing much to do with Booleans. There's nothing much to do with Boolean because you already know that the Boolean can either be true or false. There is nothing else to do with boolean. So it's either true or false. And then the next one is null. There is nothing to do with null. You know that it's perpetually empty. There is nothing inside. It's perpetually empty. It's null. Null is null. There is nothing inside it. No. And then the last one is the this thing undefined. Please bear with me that I am naming them like this. This is not variable names. This is because I can't figure out names to use. So I'm just naming them anything, random letters. Don't go and say, oh, our teacher was naming it HHH. So we for you to name HHH or YYY or TTT, anyone. No, I'm just using them to demonstrate and teach. If you want to work on project, your variables should have real names that make sense to people. But I want to believe that this one makes sense to you and I. We understand that what is supposed to be here is the name of the variable. But because I can't come up with any name now, I am using HHH, YYY, and FFF because I can't come up with any name. Now, even if I come up with a name, I can't type it right now. I'm feeling a little lazy. So that is what I think you need to know about strings, numbers, booleans, and null. The next thing is what we call concatenation, which is what I tried doing. Concatenation, or you call it string literals, or string concatenations. Anyhow, it can come in different ways. They can call it anything. They can call it string concatenation, they can call it concatenation, they can call it string literals, they can call it anything. But once you hear concatenation and you see strings in the same sentence, or they may not put strings, they might put variables, variable concatenation, variable like that. What they are simply saying is joining two or more variables together in a sentence. That's what they're simply saying. Joining two or more variables together in a sentence. So what I would do is I will comment these ones out so that it doesn't clash with the naming. I think I've used up all the names I know. So when we talk about concatenating strings, for example, I can say const first name, like my first name is equal to David, and const my location, it can be any variable. My location is equal to ph. What else can I do? I can say const my age is equal to 6. Const is married is equal to false. What else can I use? I think this is all. So when you hear concatenations, it means joining these strings together in one sentence, in one line, or string literals or variable concatenations. It simply means joining them together. So I can say const message is equal to, now the message is going to be hello, hello. You know what? Let me continue. Hello, my name is plus first name plus, let me make this bigger so that we are on the same thing. Const my name is first name, and then plus I live in, plus my location, plus what else again? I am plus my age plus years old. I think that one is enough. Let me remove this one. If you can understand the three of them, that's what. So string concatenation is joining variables together in one sentence, in one line, like this. It can be long. It can also be short. For example, if you log into your dashboard on any platform, you always see welcome and you see your name. Welcome and you see your name. Now, your name is not going to show up in on my own dashboard. My own name is also not going to show up on your own dashboard. So it means that even though welcome is hard-coded, which these ones are hard-coded here, these are not going to change. This part is always going to change for different users. For different users, it will change. Whatever is their own variable value, that is what will be stored inside here. So if I save this and try to console log the full message and save it, the full message is saying hello. Now this is what I want to actually show you, but it's saying hello, my name is David, I live in you see. Now with this, it's not telling you, it's not adding spaces here, but you can do this yourself and add spaces. So you know that after the is, I need to add space. So I will come inside here and add space. So if I save that, I've added space. Now after that, I know I need a space between the variable name and I. So inside here, I'll add space. If I do that, I have space. So in Port Harcourt, I need spacing here. I'll add space. That's it. I need spacing between the Port Harcourt and the I. If I come here, add space, that settles it. So I need the space between I am and 56. So here I'll add spacing. So I need a spacing between 56. Now I can't leave this one like this if I want, but if I want spacing there, I can add space there. So this is me concatenating variables together. And if I don't tell you that I joined them together, you will think I had coded them, but they're actually variables, and the variables value can change for different users. The variable value can change. But this is the old way of doing it, ES5. Now this is the old way of doing it. It's fine, it works, it's perfect, but the only thing here is that you see those spaces that I have to come and add again. Other spaces that I have to come and add spaces myself, I come and add them, I figure out like that. So that's a challenge for most persons. That's a challenge for most persons. But there's another way of doing it with ES6. And that is what we call the string literals. The string literal. So what I can do now is say const mssg, that is my message, is equal to backticks. Now this is not quote. This is backtick. Backticks like this. Backticks. And this backticks is found before number 1 on your keyboard. That's where you find this backticks. Like I said, this is not quote. This is not single quote. This is backticks. So you can find it on your keyboard before number 1, just before the thing before number 1. That's how you see it on your keyboard before number 1. So backticks is used in concatenating strings when it comes to ES6. So how do I do this? I'll say hello, my name is, I put my space, Now, since I want to use a variable, I will put dollar, curly braces, and then put the variable first name, then continue again. Now you see everything is inside the backticks. The only difference is if I want to use the variable, I put dollar and then curly braces, then put the variable inside the curly braces. My name is this. I can put comma here. I live in, I put dollar again, and then my location. In my location, I can put full stop and say I am, then dollar, curly braces, my age, and years old, like this. So if I come down here and console log mssg and save it, you see I have something looking nice, even though I have this live in capital letters, which is not intended, but I don't have to add spaces anymore. So this is how you do it with ES6. The two of them works fine. You can use any one you remember at any time, or you can stick to one that you're comfortable with and go with it. So this is how you concatenate strings with variables. Any question? Any question? If you don't have a question, please drop a thumbs up so that I know we can continue. No questions. All right. My own question. Should I ask my own questions? What will be my own question? Now, if I type something like this and I save, what is the error? What is my error? What if you need the mic? Okay, I think I can call names. The variable is undefined. Yeah, you bailed us out. I was going to start calling names. Okay. The variable is undefined. What else do I want to use? Yeah, we could say typo error. There's double G error in calling the correct variables. Good. Now, at least the most important thing is error is not. As a matter of fact, we developers, we like errors. Errors will tell you if you are doing well or not. I can't be struggling with a particular code or a particular error for 3 days, and all of a sudden I get a different type of error, but it is still error, but I will be rejoicing because error signifies that I'm actually doing something good. What am I looking? All right. So what else should I go into? Let's talk about comparisons. I think that's where I should be going to comparisons. Let me see. Okay, wisdom, you must use the dollar sign if it's compulsory for. Now, if you remove the dollar sign, you will have errors. It's no longer a variable now, but an error. But if I save this, you see that it's actually printing out this thing, no longer a variable. So that's why you must use You must use a. So, any other question? I want to move on from this to something else, but I want to be sure that you understand this part. Look at it very well. We've covered maths, we've covered, or is it that after the class you will look at it? So, should we go ahead? Should we go ahead? Should we go ahead? Should we go ahead? All right. In going ahead, we want to talk about arrays and objects. Arrays and object, arrays and object. We have to comment these ones out so that, yeah. So sometimes, if you have something like this, const gg is equal to a string, and you have another one, const yy is equal to a string, and I'll explain why I'm using these variable names. These are single variables. Let's assume you will be working, of course, some of you might do that. You might be working as a school, what do they call them? Webmaster or IT instructor, or you might be working with Jamb, for example. You may be working with Jamb. And I'm going to be using Jamb in a lot of my explanation. Or maybe you're working in a school. You are the webmaster for that school. They are digitizing the whole system of the schools. The names of the students are not in the register. They have to be on the website. They have the names of students in each of the classes have to be on the site. Students are going to do registration on the website. That means, for example, if your school has JSS1, you can't be typing the name of everybody in JSS1 individually like this. Individually like this. You can't. So JavaScript gives us what we call arrays. Arrays. Now, arrays are variables that hold multiple values. Array is a variable. Of course, that's a variable. The same way a string is a variable. But the difference between arrays and the other types of variables is that a string is going to hold only one value. It will be holding only one value. But an array will hold multiple values. That is what an array is. For example, I can say const class JSS1, JSS1 is equal to an array. When you see square bracket, this is square bracket. We use square bracket to denote an array. So, and I said array can contain multiple values. So it means I can put this first value here and then come again, put this second value here. I can go ahead, add a third value. You know what? Let me be adding real names. Let me say this person is Karim in JSS1. This person is Wisdom. Wisdom. This person is Cynthia. And this person is Idris. Like this. So you and I know that normally this is a string that can be defined as a single variable. This is another string that can be defined as a single variable. This is another string that can be defined as a single variable. But if you are working in a school where the names of all JSS1 is supposed to be together, you can't be differentiating them with different variables. So that is where an array comes in. It's not just for schools. It can be for anything. It can be for products. Maybe you are working in an e-commerce store. You want to have the names of products that are together and all of that. It's fine. All we want to explain is that array is a variable that can hold multiple values. And it must not only be strings. Now you can have an array that holds, I think I already have YY, EE, is equal to an array that holds multiple numbers. It can hold multiple numbers like that. So this is also an array. You can use it to hold scores of students or prices of products or scores of jam scores. You just know that an array is a variable that holds multiple values. It can also be an array that holds a mixed array. It can be a mixed array. Mixed array meaning it can have strings, it can have numbers, it can have booleans, and it can also have null. So wisdom, you are still having issues viewing it. Okay, what will happen is pay attention to the class. By the end of the class, remind me so that you will share your screen, we'll do it, or you meet the course rep to assist you, any of the course rep that assist you to do that. So, but just pay attention to what I'm doing, wisdom. Pay attention to that. By the end of the class, I can assist you, or the course rep will assist you like that. You share your screen, I will see what you're doing. So arrays can have multiple values. It can be arrays of strings. It can be arrays of numbers. It can be a mixed array. It doesn't really matter. All you know is that an array is a variable that holds multiple values. And that is it. Now, also, the same way that strings has properties and methods, an array also has properties and methods. So we can say array properties and methods. So, and like I explained before that a property is something you can describe it or identify it with or by. But a method is what it can do. A method is what it can do. The actions it can perform. That's what we refer to as a method. So for example, and I think I can find that thing on W3 School array properties reference like this. I need JavaScript array reference. Is this it? So please, I recommend, yeah, this is it. I recommend W3 schools. You can, whatever it is that I'm teaching, you can actually find it here. For now, you can always find all of them in W3 schools. So, like I explained before, I can come in here and say console CLG class JSS1 dot length JSS1 dot length. Please just give me a minute. All right, welcome back. So I was trying to explain that we also have the length property on arrays. And of course, by now you know what length would do. Length is just going to count the number of items in that an array. Now, the length when it comes to string and the length when it comes to an array are two different things. For strings, it will be counting the letters individually if you are working with strings. But if you are working with arrays, it will be counting the whole items one by one. So the reason why you see 4 here is because in this class JSS1, you have 4 items, 1, 2, 3, and 4 items. If you switch to this EE and save, it says 6. It means you have 6 items here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that is what length would do for you. Length. Now, at the same time, you can also check if it contains something. Dot contains, dot includes. So also dot include work for an array. So you can say console.log ee dot includes. Does it include let's see 45? If I save it, this answer is going to be either true or false based on whether this array contains 45. So if I come back here, it says false because 45 cannot be found inside the array of numbers here. But if I put something like 43 and save it, and then it returns true because true. So it's very possible, and this is just for arrays. Let me not go further. There'll be time to explain that. I can just find another one. You can find the index of anybody. I can say, let me find the index of 41 dot find index. Okay, let's not go with find index. I think let me go find dot. Okay, find index. Find index of 43. So I'm just asking what is the position of 43. And like I said, computers start counting at 0. So it means this first one is at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, like that. So if I save this, it says number 43 is not a function. Okay, sorry. Now I understand. So find index, return the index of the first element in an array. So I was thinking I was using the other one. Sorry. And I still have that error. Why? You know what? I'll switch this one first. Yeah, I think that was my error. Dot. Let's go back again. Now, some of these things are higher array method, which I will not explain now. I will explain them later, but I want to. Now, you can join two arrays and you can check whether something is an array. Let me see to check if, I think, is there any need to check that? But once you just attach dot is array, it checks whether it's an array or not. It will return true or false. For that case, that is when you are not the person that defined the array. In most cases, you might be calling external APIs, arrays that are built by some other persons. And before you use them, you want to confirm that they are actually an array. So in that case, that is where this is array comes in. Join. Yeah. Index of. So I was thinking of, I thought find index of would find that particular one's index. Yeah, index of will give me the one I want to find the index, like that. So that is dot index of. Yeah, I was thinking I thought I was using index of. So save that, and it finds the index of 43 as 1. And the reason why this is 1 is because computers start counting at 0. All right, thank you. The next one, like I said, you can join two. I think concatenate is actually to join the arrays, while join will join them into a string, meaning it will become a string, no longer array. So if I say this class JSS1, I want to join everything together. So what I'm doing, or what I'm saying, is that join them together by dash. Use dash to join them together. So that would mean it is going to join all of these things together using dash. And you can say join them together with space, and they will all be one string with space. Join them together with forward slash. They all be joined together with forward slash. Now, some of these things you can try them out on your own, but a lot of them are very, very special. Special in the sense that they are called higher array methods. They are very, very good, very, very important. For example, is this for each, map, and so on and so forth. But that is one side. Now, the first thing I want to teach you, which I forgot, is actually how to console log the array in the first place. I forgot to show you how to console log the array. You can console log the array, and here you will see all the items in that array. And it's also showing you the number of items in that array, which is the length. This is the first thing. And if you do this, you can actually join or remove items from this array. For example, if I want to join, I can say class JSS1 dot push. I want to add my name to this array. So if I add my name there, I want to console log it and see if my name is there. So if I save it, now you see that my name has been added to the array. Now push is going to add my name to the end of the array. The next one is if I want it to be at the beginning of the array, I can use on shift and save it. So you see that now I have my name at the beginning, and I also have my name at the end of the array. So maybe students can join in as you are as a school webmaster. Every year you have school registrations. The first year you've created your array, but later on students are joining, so you can also be adding their names to the array. It is either you are using push to add them as on first come first serve basis, so the last person that joined will be the last person on the array, like that, or you add them to the beginning of the array, or you write JavaScript maths, JavaScript this thing to arrange them in alphabetical order. Anyhow, the next thing I can do is I can remove from this array class JSS1 dot pop. So if I say dot pop, I am removing an item from this array. So let's confirm that something is being removed by console logging it. So popping removed my name from the end of the array. So popping, when you call the array dot pop, it removes the last item in the array. That is what pop would do. And these things, you don't have to cram them, which is why I am opening up the documentation to tell you that you don't have to cram any of these things at all. No, even if you are working on a project, you still don't have to cram them. If they do not enter into your head automatically, keep visiting documentation. It is good for your health. Keep visiting documentation, but do not cram anything. Now, if I want to remove from the beginning, I can say shift. So pop is going to remove from the end, and shift is going to remove from the beginning. Now, if I go ahead and shift again, so you see that it has removed these two items and leaving this one and this one and this one. So this is what shift and pop can do. And you can actually look up these arrays. But do we have any questions so far on array? Now, don't be shy. Just ask your questions. Arrays are very, very important, especially on the back end. Especially on the back end, arrays are very, 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 very important. Ask your question. Any question on what we have done so far? Any question, if there is no question, drop a thumbs up. Now the thing here is that, like I said before, whatever it is that you see me do and you cannot do it, please do not allow us cross over to the next thing. If you allow us cross over to the next thing, what you are doing is that it is either you will not fully understand, or by the time you will not understand, you will come and be asking us questions. Can we go back to something like this? Please, like I said, don't drop questions on the general. I may not see them. Use question and answer, because that one will always be open. Any question? If there is no question, please drop a thumbs up so that we can continue. All right, thank you. But please let it be that you understand, so we don't have to repeat it, but let it be that you understand. All right, that's for arrays. Now we can move on to another type of variable. Another type of variable, and this variable, we call them objects. Objects. Now, objects are very, very important in JavaScript. Objects. In JavaScript, anything can be an object. The same way in real life, a computer can be an object, a dog can be an object, a human being can be an object in JavaScript. So anything can be an object in JavaScript. The same way anything can be an object in real life. So how do we define an object? I'll start the same way I define every other variable, like this. But with an object, I'll be adding curly braces. Curly braces. Now remember that for arrays, they are square brackets. So when you see square bracket, is an array. But if you see curly braces, then that is an object. And there are other ways to actually identify an object. We are coming to that. So the first way to identify an object is when you see curly braces. The second way is that objects are variables that come in pairs. Pairs, like this. It is paired. So it's paired in the key and value format. So objects come with key and value. For example, first name is the key. The value is David. So it comes in pair. The second one is the age. The value is 46 or anything. The third thing is raining, which is the key, and the value is either true or false. So this is an example of an object. Number one, it comes with curly braces. Number two, it appears in pairs, the key and value pairs. So this is the key and this is the value. This is the key and this is the value of the key. This is the key and this is the value of the key. Anything can be an object. For example, I say a laptop can be your object. And here you say the brand of the laptop is the key, and the brand you say is HP. The color can be the key, and the color you say is blue. The size can be the key, and you say it is 14 inches, maybe as a string or maybe as a number. Anyone, 14 inches, anyone. What else again? You can just put the keys. The RAM is the key, and you have to be separating each key with comma. The RAM is 4 or maybe 8 gig, anyhow, like that. And London used can be the key, and you set it to true or false. So okay, wisdom. I will not advise you to use the keyword var because it is not scoped, and you may not really understand what scoping means, but I think I tried to explain scoping in the last class. It doesn't have confinement. It doesn't have confinement. So I always advise to use either const or let. But as a matter of fact, I will advise you to always use const unless you know that that variable, the value will change, then you use let. But if you know that the value will not change, that means the value remains constant, then use const. But if the value is going to change, the value is not constant, then there is no need using const. Use let. So the reason why I am using const is because this variable called gg is not gg, yeah, gg. The value is always going to be this object. It will not change. So which is why I am using const. But if the value is not going to be this object tomorrow, or maybe the day after tomorrow, then I will use let. So, like I say, always use const, except you know the value will change. But you can forget about var for now. If you still want to use var, I'm not saying it's bad, but there are a few challenges that comes with it. One of it being scoping. So, but if you still want to use var, go ahead by all means. There's nothing wrong with it. So this is an object, and I can console log the object, for example, gg, and save it. So here I have details of the object, and I can open it up to see everything that is in the object. Like I said, objects come in key and value pairs. So this is the key, this is the value, the key, the value, the key, and the value. It doesn't tell us the number of items here. It doesn't do that. Only array will do that. So, but it just gives us the key and the value. Another thing is, I can decide not to print out everything, but to print out only one key. And then I can say dot first name. It will print out only the first name because I am using the key as a reference. So I want to print out the whole array, but the key called first name. So go into this array and print out first name. That is what I'm doing. Oh, and I forgot to teach you how to do that with an array. Well, we're going to come to that. Now, when it comes to an array, I think I can just uncomment one, which is this one. I can uncomment this and say that if you want to print out something in an array, first you start with the name of the array. Start with the name of the array. The next thing is the index. If I put 0, it means print out the item at index 0 inside this array. So go into this array and print out the item that is at index 0. So if I save it, you see that David is at index 0. The reason is because I have already added David to this array at this point. No. Karim, sorry. This thing I console. The more you look, the less you see. Sorry. I thought I was seeing David. I didn't know, which is why I need to comment these things down so that we don't get confused at any point. So print out the one at index 0. And I can also print out the ones at index 2, index 3, as the case might be. So if I want to print out the one at index 3, it will print out Idris because Idris is at index 3. And I said computer start counting at 0. So this Karim is at 1 and 0, 1, 2, and 3. So that is, if I put something like 4 here and save, you see it's coming out as undefined. The reason is because the number of items in this array did not reach position 4. So that is why I am getting this undefined. I can also try 6 and I will still see undefined. But if I change it to 2, I'll see Cynthia. So this is for array. You print with or using the index of the item. But when it comes to an object, you will print using the key. I can still go ahead and do something like this. Print the age, only the age. So I have this. Now, there is not much with objects. Where the beauty of coding comes in is when you then begin to have arrays of objects or objects inside an array or arrays inside an object. That is where the beauty comes in. So let's go into that. That is what I want to do now. First, I have this key. I can add another key here and say children is the key, and it's going to be an array. The first child is going to be called Cynthia. The second child is going to be called Karin. The third child is going to be called David. All right. So now I have an array inside an object. Now, this part I am teaching is simple. It's very, very simple and sweet. But if you don't pay attention to it, it becomes complicated. But the reason why I want you to pay attention to it is because you as a backend developer will be deciding whether you want to put an array inside an object or you want to put an object inside an array. It will be your choice. The front-end developer will not decide that. The backend will not decide. As a matter of fact, until you decide, they will not move on with the project. So please, you need to pay attention to this side to see how you be the, although this is not the only part that will determine, but you should also know that arrays can be inside an object will be inside an array, and the decision is solely resting upon you, the backend developer. So if I want to print out just the children, I can say print out children like this. And it's going to print out all the children from this object. Now, I can still go ahead and print out one child inside the object. So this means go into the object, find the children key. But inside the children key, print out the item at index 0. So if I save it, I have only Cynthia. You know what? Let me write this thing very well so that we know. Yeah. So student is the object and children is the array, and this 0 is the index. This is in a case of having an object inside, an array inside an object. Now we can actually switch it and have an object inside an array. Say const student is equal to an array. But in this array now, we have two objects. And I remove these names because it doesn't need a name and it doesn't need a name. So now I think I can change this name. Let me put, which person's name will I use? Wisdom. Wisdom 57 is reading false. And here I'll put joy, I'll put bishop, I'll put police, anyone. Yeah. So I have two objects inside an array, and it is becoming interesting. It is going to become more and more interesting, but please bear with me. Bear with me. This is the part that is very, very important. This is the beginning of how you build the JavaScript. You need to determine how your data will look like. And so before you know how it should look like, you also know what is possible and what is not possible. So I can decide to print out all the objects. So I can say console log all the students and save. And I have first is not defined. Oh, I'm using capital letter. All right, so it's printing out the array and it's telling me that there are two items inside the array. And actually there are two objects inside the array. And if I open it up, I have this at index 0, I have this at index 1, and I can open them up. And if I still open them up, you see that here the structure is we have an array, then we have an object, and then we have another array. So we have an array inside an object which is inside another array. And this is where I want to ask my question to person number, who do I pick? Victoria. Victoria. Only Victoria that I want to hear her voice. Victoria, if you are listening to me, please say hi. Victoria, are you listening to me? Please say hi. Victoria, are you listening to me? Please say hi. Is she here? Victoria, are you here? My question is not going to be hard. It's not going to be difficult. So don't be shy. Victoria, are you here? Okay. Victoria is not here. We'll move on to somebody else. Rema, are you here? Please, if you're here, please say hi. Rema, are you here? Are you serious? Can anybody hear me? Please drop a thumbs up if you can hear me. Please drop a thumbs up if you can hear me. Thank you. So Rema is also not here. Who else? Who else? Who else? Said, are you here? Said, if you're here, please unmute and say hi.
Yes, I'm here.
All right. So we have something like this on the screen. Looking at it.
Okay.
What do you think it will print on the console?
I think it will print Cynthia, Kerim, and David.
Okay, so let's confirm. I saved that. Yes, it is. Thank you, Said. Thank you. The next person is going to be actually Karim. Let's go with Karim. Karim, we want to print out your name here. Karim, if you are listening to me, please say hi. Did I unmute her? Is she here?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, we have this. If we want to print out your name, this name here only, what should we add to this? Yes.
Okay,
If we want
you
to
add
print
the
out
index. You add the index
index
number 1.
like this,
No, with the brackets.
like this bracket,
Yes.
this bracket,
No, not this one. The one that
this
has the
one.
0.
Okay, this one.
Yes.
And I'll put 1 like this.
Yes.
Okay, save it. That's correct. All right, I think that's fine. Thank you. But for those who don't really understand what we're doing, this is what we are doing. Let me explain. The first thing is, if you are asked to print out anything here, because that is going to be what you will be doing. This is exactly, as a matter of fact, let me show you. Let me just show you. I'll just show you a simple back end to show you that these details are actually how it comes out. This is how it comes out. I have a backend I want to show, and it's going to be Metele, and I'll call it coming soon. And I say get with list. And if I send this request, I should have get me all the users, get me all the users, get me all the users. I'm having network issue, but I'm actually making a request. It might be tiny, but when I get the response, I think you'll see it. I'm actually making a request to my database to get me data structure so that you see how it looks similar to what we have. All right, so it has gotten me back data. This is a real back end. Now, can you see my screen? Can you see this part? Drop a thumbs up if you can. If you can see this part of my screen. All right. Now this, let me zoom in more. Yeah, I think this will be better. This is a real back end. Like the project is not complete, but it's a real back end. And if you look at it here, we have an object. Everything here is inside an object. Everything is inside an object. In this object, you have the first key that says the message is what? Successful. We have the second key that says count is equal to 9. Then inside it, we have a wait list that is an array. Inside that array, we have objects. The first object, the second object, the third object, and so on and so forth. Inside this other object now, we then have keys like this, and we have IDs created at location. So this is exactly what you will be dealing with as a backend, which is why it's important to understand this is how I decide to structure the data for this particular one. And let me just copy, I think I can copy it. I'll copy it and close this one. And then I'll paste it somewhere here. Now, the reason why you see these errors is because the data type is different. There's a difference between object and JSON. but they look alike. They look alike, almost the same. The difference is that a JSON, both the key and the value come in quotes. So it doesn't really matter whether it's a string or not. The key and the value come in quotes. And somebody will be asking, what is JSON? JSON simply means JavaScript object notation. So for short, we call it JSON. JSON is the format with which we send and receive data from one platform to another. Now, this data is not coming from my computer. This data is coming from a database. Now, a database is a different kind of platform. My laptop is a different laptop. And that is why the data is coming in form of JSON. But this JSON looks exactly the same as an object. The only difference is that for JSON, both the key and the value come in quotes. That is the difference between JSON and object. Do you understand? So for JSON, the key and the value come in quotes. That is what we have here. But for object, we don't have quote for everything, except it is a string. And you are going to be working with JSONs, as the case might be. So if I want to turn this to object, all I need to do is to remove all the quotes from the key. So once I remove all the quotes from the key, it is no longer, I think I don't need all of them. I will reduce some of it. Yep, so I'll reduce this. You know what? Reduce this. Sorry, I'm taking my time, but I want you to get used to what JSON and objects. I may not have another file to explain it very well, but let me explain it very well right now. Okay, so we are actually turning the whole of this JSON to an object by removing the quotes and the key. So if you remove the quotes and the key, it becomes an object. Now, this is an object. The difference here is that, why am I having error here? It's saying, okay, I didn't give it a name. So I can say the name is equal to response. Yeah. So automatically, this is now an object. Now, if I decide to copy this and console log the whole response, I have a response here. So response, you have count, you have the message, and you have a wait list, which is an array with two objects. So if I want, I can go deeper on it, but that's like a different thing. So for those who really do not understand, because I think some person don't understand, let me explain what I am doing. If I want to console log the whole array, I'll say print out students. It will print out all the students, and I'm seeing the object inside it. Now, if I say I want to print out one key, I need to find out, is that key in the first item or is that key in the second item? Now, based on what I want, now the first thing we did was to print out Karim, and Karim is inside the children that is inside the first item, which is why we then said square bracket 0. So if you save it, we have printed the first item that is inside this array. So, but we want to get to Karim. Now we are inside this object, which is the first item. The next thing is Karim is inside this key called children. So I'll put a dot and get the children and save. Now we are inside this array that has Karim inside it. But because we want to print out only this name, we need to find out what is the index here. We have index 0, index 1, and index 2. So you put a square bracket and print out 1. So if you save it, you have Karim. So this is how we got to this part. So ladies and gentlemen, any question? Do you have any question? Before I ask my own question. Any question? Before I ask my own question, and my own question is going to go this way. If you don't have a question, please drop a thumbs up so that I know. My question is going to go this way. Wisdom, Wisdom, don't worry, we are recording the class. Today's class, we are recording it because of you, don't worry. You will be found. You must be found. So, in order to ask my own question, this is what I will do. I will put children here. Now, if you get this assessment, believe me, you are going to do well in JavaScript. If you get this assessment I want to give now, is a short classwork. Believe me, so I have something like this. I am going to drop it for you on the platform here. Please tell me, how do I print out Karim here only? So type it and drop it. How do I print out? I think I should open my own also, in case you need to see mine, but I've dropped it for you. How do I print out Karim? Now, if you get that assessment, it's running. If you get it, believe me, it's going to be all true for you. How do I print out Karim? Only, I want this name, only this name, only this name. How do I print it out in the console? Type it and drop it on the platform. I am waiting for it. How do I print out Karim? Everybody, please, everybody. Now, I understand that some of you might be lost, but please attempt it. Attempt it. It is not going to get more difficult than this. If you get this, any other way they bring that data, whether on the back end or you do it yourself, you will not get lost. Just print out Karim only Karim, only. If you want to see my data, this is my own data. I don't know if I should go a little smaller so that, no, that will be very small. How do I print out only Karim? Only. That is the only thing I want to print out. The only name I want to use. Only. Console.log response. Let me see. Console.log response. And then inside response, you go to number 1. No. Stanley, no, no, no. Children, 1, no, no. Response. Okay, this says response dot 1. No. Side, no. This is response dot waitlist number 1 dot children 1. No, no, water, no, 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 no. I want to print out only Karim, not more than one, just one. Just one. Let's see who gets that first. Now, it's not going to get more difficult than this. This is going to be particular. Now, I like the way you are writing yours. Yes, response, waitlist 1, children, and 1. Console log response. We are going with response. Now, even though you didn't write it very well, I want to accept that. Response dot waitlist 1, children. Okay, you know what? Let me run this one first. I'll run this one first. And console.log, it needs a bracket. I'll close it with a bracket and save. It says property of undefined reading 1. So no, that's not it. You've not gotten to that part. Let's run this one here. Now, even though it's not spelled well, I can adjust it. Response. Okay, this is not going to get it to us. Okay. Console.log response. Response the waitlist. No, no, no. This one. Now let's run this one and see. V and save. Yes, yes, yes. But I'm not going to show that. Did it get me Karim? I didn't see that. I'm not going to show what it got. So, but let's just keep that one. Try this one, Sahid. Sahid, you are trying, but no. The closest to it, response.waitlist. Yes. Access the second. Yes, yes. Waitlist. In the waitlist array, access children. If you are in the waitlist, access the first one. Okay. Then dot the children. Then dot the children. Okay, okay. Said, I want to agree with you. Yes. No, 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 no. But so far, you guys are doing well. So let's run this one from side because CLG response dot waitlist here. Remove the response dot waitlist. So dot children, copy that, dot children and save. Okay, 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 okay. What am I commenting? Yeah, I need to remove this one. So I will just number it so that we know who is bringing what. This is Karim, close to the answer. This is Said. Is this Said or no, Tunde? Close to the answer. Waitlist children. This is close, but not really. Let me see. V and save that. No, this is not it. Not close. It's not. Console.log response waitlist. No. Yeah, let's try this one from Peters. KV console.log response waitlist children, and save that. Close. So let's keep this one. We'll see from Oluseyi. I think we stop there. Console.log response Gerard. Let's try this one from Gerard. Copy console.log waitlist. Is it waitlist? Let me see. Is it capital waitlist or small waitlist? Small waitlist. Children, and save. No, something is wrong, but we don't know where it is wrong. Let me see. Maybe it's not from my end. So no, this one didn't get it. It says cannot read property of undefined at 1. Okay, so that didn't go well. We almost done. 1 minute more, and then we'll see which one would go well. 1 minute more. This is Schwaibu. Let's run this one and see this one. Console.log response. No. This one will not get it. No, this one will not get it. Let's try this one. Control V. Console.log response waitlist 2. It will not. Waitlist 2. This will not get it. Do not. 1 minute. Yeah, we're done. So what we are going to look at is see this one first. What did it print out? Okay, this printed Karim. This is good. Let's see this one. Okay, this one also printed Karim. That's good. And this one also printed Karim. So the 3 of them correct. Now, for those who may have not understand it, let me show you how we get there. The first thing is to print out the whole response. That is the first thing. CLG response. We have entered the response. Now, inside the response, how do we select from an object? We select with dot. Inside an object, we select with dot. So, dot waitlist, because the name we want to print is inside the waitlist here. So, we need to go with dot waitlist. Okay, I see. Let me see. Responder waitlist children. This might be correct. This might be correct. This might also be correct. This is correct. This might also be correct. Yeah. This also might be correct. But for those who really do not understand how, I'm just showing you how. First thing is to go into the response. When you go into the response, the next thing is select the waitlist with dot. Because inside an object, we select with dot. Now we have entered the array. Inside array, we select with square brackets. And what we are looking for is in the second one. And this is at index 0. This is at index 1. So we say square bracket 1. Then we are inside this object. Now to select inside an object again, we use dot. So what we want is inside here. So we say dot children. And then this is also an object. So inside this object, we want these children dot another children. And then we have entered this square bracket. And then inside the square bracket, we say 0, 1, square bracket 1. So that would be response dot waitlist square bracket 1, square bracket 1 dot children. Yes, we've entered here. And then dot children again. So for those who dot, are you? Okay. Response dot yes dot children inside there dot again children, and then inside here we do square bracket 1, and if you save that, it's going to print out Karen. So, but even if you don't understand it, it's fine. It's totally fine. You are going to come across this data like this again and again and again. And also, you will be the one to decide if you want your data to look like this or you want it to look somehow. Now, the front-end developer will be the one trying to figure out how to pick out something. So, but like I said, you need to know what the front-end developer will face so that when you are building something for them, you are certain that what you build for them is correct and okay. If it's a good front-end developer, you should be able to work with the data you gave them. So that is why you are doing all of this. So, ladies and gentlemen, do we have any question? Now, for those who may not really understand the answer, let me just drop mine. In case you have the other one, you want to go through it, you can run mine also and you see what will come out. So, but do we have any question before we call it a day? Any question at all on what we have done today? Any question on what we have done today? Wisdom, I understand you. So, Wisdom, can you share your screen? Let me see what your challenge is. I will stop sharing my screen. So, what if you use curly? Yeah, you can. There are cases where you can use curly braces instead of dot. That is, if you are working with objects. There are cases where you can use square bracket, curly braces instead of dot. But I prefer to go with the dot, which is way. Yeah, you can also use square brackets and then add the name of the key like this. You can also do that. Yeah, this will work. You can also do that. It works. But I like going with dots for objects and square brackets for arrays. All right. Wisdom, are you sharing your screen or you're no longer experiencing that error? Any other question? Victoria, are you here? Please, Victoria, I want to hear from you. Say hi. All right. Wisdom, share your screen. Stop sharing. Victoria, are you here? Please say hi. Rema, where is Rema? Is Rema on this call? Okay, inside this wait list, we have two objects and I can close them like this. So you see we have just two objects inside the wait list. So we have this first one and this second one, just two objects. Okay, Victoria, your network won't allow you to say I want it, but it's fine. Good to know that you are here with us. Wisdom, you want to go ahead. If you want the mic, go ahead, Wisdom. Any question, please go ahead and ask your question. If you want the mic, tell me and I'll also give you the mic. Wisdom, we are waiting for you.
I'm trying to share my screen. But my question is from selecting, what if you don't want to use the angle bracket? You want
square
to use
bracket.
curly bracket instead of the angle bracket where you
square
include
bracket,
the index.
not angle bracket, square bracket. So square brackets is mainly for arrays. There's no way you would not use square bracket to select an array. Maybe there's another way. I think there's another way, yes. But the easiest way is that square bracket is for arrays. So when you want to select anything from an array, put square bracket and put the index of what you want to select. That's the easiest way. Now, when it comes to objects, use dot to select the key of any object. In any object, use dot. Also, you can use square bracket for object, then put the name of the key and put it inside quotes. You can do that. You can, but the easiest way is to go with dot. like that. All right. Show us your VS Code. Show us your browser. Let's see how we can help you. Any other person with any question? I think I saw a question. So what about the children that is inside the waitlist 2? Now waitlist 2 doesn't have waitlist, just have waitlist 0 and waitlist 1. So there is no waitlist 2. It is when you enter waitlist 1, you can then do dot children and then dot another children before using square bracket 1. So there's no waitlist 2, it's actually waitlist 1. That's why it ends. There are just 2 items. Are they objects 2? Yeah, the children, the 2 of them are objects. This first one is an object, this second one is an array, but you use object to select this, object to select this, and then array to select this.
Please, can you see my VS Code?
Yes, I am. Yes, I can. So the reason why you have week 4, week 3, group 2, and is not really organized, which is why you might be having issues opening it up with VS Code. But click on the index file you are working on. Which of the index file are you working with? Which of the index file? Click on it. Save it, Control X, save it. Then right click to open. Do you have live server? Right click to open live server. Right click. Do you have live server? Scroll down. Okay, you don't have live server. Is it 5 server I'm seeing there at the top? Open with 5 server.
Yeah, 5 server.
Okay, I don't know what that will be, but go back to the
whenever I'm typing my code, I normally see it live here.
Okay, this is your code now.
If I put,
add H1, let's see. Add
if I put
H1.
anything there, I can put.
Okay, that means it's open already on live server. So go to this open white space on your browser. Go to your browser. Go to your browser. Right click on your browser. Yeah, right click there. No, on your browser. Right click. Can you right click? On the white space, anywhere on the white space, can you right click?
But nothing is coming up.
But it's not opening up. What kind of browser are you using? Oh, are you viewing this on VS Code? Yes, this is a VS Code.
Yes,
this is the browser.
I'm viewing it on VS Code.
So you can't right click on VS Code. It has to be on the browser. It has to be on the browser.
So this is my browser now, out of VS Code.
So right click on the browser. Right click on the browser. Click on inspect. You should see inspect. Which browser is this? This is Chrome. You should see, okay. I think your Chrome has not been. Yeah, every Chrome comes automatically. You don't need to set up developer options. Refresh this code. Let's see. Refresh your browser. Click on the refresh arrow key on the left. Come to the top left and click on refresh.
Inspect.
Okay, click on inspect then. So you see the console there at the top on the right.
Okay,
do you see console? Do you see console at the top on the right?
Yeah,
are you seeing the console? Yeah, click on console. So this is where you see console. So come back to your code. Come back to your code. Come back to your HTML. Yeah, save it again so that error will disappear. Save it and then go to your index.js and console log a string. Go to your index.js and console log, write console.log, and this end is going to put that end inside quotes. Put it inside quotes. Remove the one on line 1 remove it entirely, or you put const, add const before it. No. It's fine. Declare a variable. Yeah, declare a variable. Const is equal to add a string is equal to add any string, just add anything. Why is your const showing error? You didn't spell it very well. And then console log the variable. Save it. Then go back to the browser on the console part. Go back to the browser on the console part. So are you seeing line 2 there? So that is how you preview. Okay. Now this error you are seeing here, you can actually remove it when you click on that circle with slash inside it. Not that one, but the error, this is not error, it's just a warning. No. On the top, forget about, you know what, just forget that it's not much. Come to the top. Are you seeing the top? At the top, move left. Yeah, yeah, you see that circle there? See the circle with slash inside it? Yes, click on it. It will clear everything. Have you clicked on it? Yeah, it will clear everything. So go back and save your what is it called? JavaScript again. It will save your JavaScript again. Just add space and save. Space and save. Then go back to your browser. You should see your code. Okay, your warning is still there, but it's fine. Your network is slow, so that's why you have a warning. But it's fine. That is all. I believe you understand how to find it on your browser now. All right, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Any other question before we call it a day? Any other? Yeah, go ahead.
So during the time of when you were extracting that JSON and data, my network disconnected,
JSON
so I
data.
didn't actually. Yes.
It's fine. It's fine. Now, JSON data, you're going to do it over and over again. This is the first time. You're still going to do it again and again and again. But you will have the recording, so you get to watch the recording. If you still don't understand it, it's fine. We're going to treat JSON data again in a subsequent class. The same way we did with HTML. You don't learn HTML once, but we're going to be doing a lot of JSON data, arrays and objects. It's fine, but I'll go through the video after class. Any other person with a question? You can stop sharing now. Wisdom, you can stop sharing. Any other person has a question? Or you want to use the mic, or I will call your name. And I think we're almost out of time. Yes, we are out of time. It's okay. It's okay. So guys, in the absence of any question, please drop a thumbs up so that we can end today's class. Yes. The values and the keys appear in quotes. That's the major difference between object and JSON data. All right. Thank you. See you all tomorrow by 5 p.m. Bye. Bye.